Download and upload more than ever before with an ultra-fast fiber connection. With 3 simple steps, you can be the one with an SLT fiber optic connection. Visit slt.lk.
Another arrest. Notorious Sri Lankan criminal Blumandal Sankar arrested in India. Calls to step down. Protests held in London demanding the resignation of the mayor of Harrow over pictures with top Sri Lankan army officials. A hidden deal. JVP accuses the government of renewing a secret agreement with the United States, which was struck by the previous regime. This Sunday, the 3rd of March 2019.
From Ada Derana, this is Ada Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Well, a very good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Ada Derana 24, Sri Lanka's news channel. I am Katharina Chang. Now moving on to your top story tonight. Sri Lanka's permanent representative in Geneva, Ambassador ALA Aziz, had informed the conference on disarmament in Geneva that Sri Lanka stands for comprehensive disarmament, realized through a step-by-step approach, underpinned by the adoption of a legally binding framework and the addressing of legal gaps. Addressing the high-level segment of the conference, which is held in line with the ongoing 40th regular session of the UN Rights Council recently, the ambassador had cautioned that an approach of picking the pickables and leaving the rest in the UN Secretary General securing our common future, an agenda for disarmament may perpetuate existing imbalances rather than addressing them comprehensively. During his remarks, Ambassador Aziz reiterated the urgent need for the conference on disarmament to explore all means possible to create momentum for serious and committed negotiations, considering particularly the current precarious state of the international peace and security landscape. Referring to the significance of the year 2019 for disarmament, including the 40th anniversary of the conference, the ambassador had noted that this was the right opportunity to build on the momentum achieved in 2018, commencing from Sri Lanka's presidency. There were a number of high-level dignitaries, including the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, as well as ministers of foreign affairs, addressed the conference during the 2019 high-level segment. Now on to one of our headline-making news. Protests were held in London yesterday calling for the resignation of the mayor of Harrow, Sri Lankan-born Karima Marika. Now the mayor posted pictures with Commander of the Sri Lankan Army Mahesh Senanayake and Brigadier Priyanka Fernando during a visit which protesters called upsetting.
War criminal.
Several protests organised by LTTE sympathisers of the UK's Tamil diaspora were held in London yesterday. Protesters had called for the resignation of the mayor of Harrow, Sri Lankan-born Karima Marika, after she was pictured with senior military figures during a visit to Sri Lanka last year. Marika had met with Commander of the Sri Lankan Army Mahesh Senanayake and Brigadier Priyanka Fernando during her visit and posted pictures on social media sites which protesters call upsetting. Members of the World Patriotic Lankan Forum who are living in UK, however, strongly condemned the demand of the protesters.
අපි මරිකාර් මැතිනියට එරෙහිව කරන මෙම LTT විසින් කරන ඉල්ලීම අපි හෙලා දැකීම පිළිබඳව ජිනීවා ජගත් මානව හිමිකම් සැසිවාරය 40 වෙනි සැසිවාරය මේ මාර්තුවල පවතිනවා. එහිදී අපේ විද්වතුන් සමග කරුණු ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමක් සිදු කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. අපි මේ මාස 10 වෙනිදා විශාල උද්ඝෝෂණයක් කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා මානව හිමිකම් කොමිසම ඉදිරිපිට.
President Maithripala Sirisena emphasizes that safeguarding the ancient relationship between Buddhism and society will pave the way for a better tomorrow for Sri Lanka. The head of state made the remark while addressing a religious event in Polonnaruwa today.
පන්සල තමයි අපිට ඉතිහාසය කියලා දුන්නේ අපිට අනාගතය කියලා දුන්නේ. අපිට මිනිස්සු විදියට හැදෙන්න කියලා දුන්නේ. අපි බෞද්ධ රටක් විදියට සතුටු වෙන්නට ඕන. මුළු මහත් ලෝකයටම බෞද්ධ දර්ශනය ප්‍රචාරය කරන විශේෂයෙන්ම තේරවාදී බෞද්ධ දර්ශනයේ මූලස්ථානයේ බවට පත් වෙලා තිබෙන ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අපේ මහා ගෞරවනීය භික්ෂු පරපුර මහා උතුම් සංඝ පරපුර සෑම විටම අපි ආරක්ෂා කරන්න ඕනේ. ගමයි පන්සලයි රැක්කොත් තමයි සෑම විටම යහපත් සමාජයක් ගොඩනැගෙන්නේ.
The Janata Vimukti Peramana today revealed that the government secretly signed a document agreeing to provide assistance to American armed forces whenever it is required. Speaking at a media conference held at the party headquarters today, Parliamentarian Bima Ratnayaka highlighted that the agreement is seen as a threat as it has no expiration date.
ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂත් එවකට ඇමරිකානු තානාපතිවරයා වශයෙන් ලංකාව හිටපු රොබර්ටෝ බ්ලේක් මහතා අතරත් මේ කිවිසුම තුළින් අපි කරනු ලැබූ දේ තමයි ඇමරිකන් හමුදා ලෝකේ කොහේ හරි යුද්ධයක් කරනවා නම් ඒ හමුදාවට අවශ්‍ය කරන ගුවන්තොටුපළ වල සම්පාදනය කිරීම, වරායවල් ලබා දීම, යුද්ධයකට අවශ්‍ය කරන සියලුම සේවාවන් ACSA කියන Acquire and Cross Services Agreement වශයෙන් ප්‍රසිද්ධ කරලා තිබෙන මේ කිවිසුමට අත්සන් කරනු ලැබුවා 2007. දැන් මේ කිවිසුමේ අත්සන් කරනු ලැබුවේ අවුරුදු 10කට නිසා 2017 මාර්තු මාසයේ 6 වෙනි දින මේ කිවිසුම කල්පැන්න. නැවත වතාවක් හොර රහසේ මේ කිවිසුම අත්සන් කරනු ලැබලා තිබෙනවා 2017 ජූනි 30 වෙනිදා මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන ජනාධිපතිවරයා පැත්තෙන් ආරක්ෂක ඇමතිවරයා වශයෙන් මොකද්ද ඔහු යෝජනා කරනවා මේ කිවිසුම අත්සන් කරන්න. මේ කිවිසුම අත්සන් කිරීමේදී ඔහු සඳහන් කරන දේ මොකද්ද? කලින් අත්සන් කළ ලද කිවිසුම. රාජපක්ෂ යුගයේදී ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහතා අත්සන් කළ ලද කිවිසුමත් මේ කිවිසුමත් අතර වෙනස මොකක්ද? මෛත්‍රීපාල සිරිසේන මහතාම කියනවා මොකද්ද? අලුතෙන් අත්සන් කරන කිවිසුමට කාල සීමාවක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් කලින් කරු ගානේ අවුරුදු 10කින් කල්පිරුණා. දැන් මේ කිවිසුම ගත්තොත් මේක කාල සීමාවකින් තොරව තමයි අත්සන් කරන්න කැබිනට් මණ්ඩලයට යෝජනා කරන්නේ. මේ කිවිසුමට අමතරව අත්සන් කිරීමට යන තවත් කිවිසුමක් ඒක තමයි සෝෆා කියන්නේ. මේ කිවිසුම මගින් එක්සත් ජනපදයේ ඉල්ලා සිටින ශ්‍රී ලංකා ආණ්ඩුවෙන් තමන්ගේ හමුදාවට සහ තමන්ගේ හමුදාවට සම්බන්ධ සිවිල් පුද්ගලයන්ට ලංකාව තුළ කටයුතු කරද්දී රාජතාන්ත්‍රික වරප්‍රසාද ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. ඔවුන් මිලදී ගන්න කිසිම දෙයකට හෝ ඔවුන් ලබා ගන්න ඕනෑම සේවාවක කිසිම බද්දක් අය කරන්න බෑ. ඕනම දෙයක් ඉම්පෝට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. එක්ස්පෝට් කරන්නත් පුළුවන්. ඒක පැහැදිලිවම ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුළ ඇමරිකන් හමුදා කඳවුරක් ස්ථාපිත වුණා හා සමාන වෙනවා.
Opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa says that they believe the 20th Amendment to the Constitution should take place as a matter of principle. Addressing the media in Anuradhapura yesterday, however, he stressed that the present government cannot go ahead with the amendment as they do not have a majority in Parliament. The opposition leader made his thoughts clear following the Businessmen's Forum in Anuradhapura district last evening.
වචනේ පාවිච්චි කරන උදවිය සංහිඳියාවට කරපු දෙයක් නෑ කියලා මම නම් කියන්නේ. යුද්ධය අවසන් කිරීම තුළ තමයි සංහිඳියාව ඇති වුනේ. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට දුන්න රටේ ආර්ථිකය ගොඩනගා. අපි කුෂිකර්මයේ කෙරෙහි විශ්වාසය තිබුණා. අද එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂේ නායකයා නම් කියන්නේ යන තැන ඉඳන් කියනවා එතන ඉඳලා හම්බන්තොට යනකම් කර්මාන්ත දානවා කියලා. කුමුරු ගොඩගල්ලා කර්මාන්ත හැදිය යුතුයි කියන පදනමේ තමයි එතුමා විශ්වාසය තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ. එක පැත්තකින් මුළු රට පුරාම මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය ගලාගෙන ඉන්න පටන් ගත්තා. දැන් සමහරු කියනවා 19 වෙනි වගන්තිය ඉඳයි උඩු දැන් අල්ලනවායි කියලා. 19 වෙනි වගන්තිය දැම්මේ ආණ්ඩුව ආපු ගමන් දින 100යි. උඩු නැග්ගේ 19න් පස්සේ ඒකයි ඇත්ත කතාව. කොහොම වුණත් උඩු නිසා මේ ආණ්ඩුව කුඩේ කුඩු වෙනවා.
Following the event, opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in religious observances at the historic Ruan Valley Sair and at the Jayashree Mahabodhi.
ඒ මනුස්සයා කිව්වට ඕක පරාජය කරන්න නෑ රනිල්. මම දන්න ඕනේ රනිල් කියන්නේ. අපි සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. පොරොන්දු විශ්වයට පොරොන්දු වන්නේ. අපි ප්‍රතිපත්තියක් වශයෙන් අපි ඒක වෙනස් කළ යුතුයි කියන එක ඉන්නවා. හැබැයි මේ ආණ්ඩුවට බැහැනේ. බෞද්ධරයක් නැති ආණ්ඩුවක් නේ. කොයි මනුස්සයාවත් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයෙන් ප්‍රතිඵල එකයි. අලුතෙන් වැඩි වෙන ඡන්දෙකුත් නෑ. අපි දිනනවා.
A Finnish group visited Sri Lanka recently to finalize an investment of $300 million with the government in order to transform garbage into renewable energy. The investment involves building a waste park on a 30-acre land in the Mirigama industrial zone, which once completed would be the largest in Asia, generating 250 megawatt electricity. This amount of power would be generated with waste recycling and solar power. Two senior officials from Fortum Oy of Finland also met President Maithripala Sirisena during the visit. The company will also undertake another project in Sri Lanka to convert chicken droppings, a biofertilizer project, to replace chemical fertilizer with biofertilizer. Minister of Megapolis and Western Development Partly Champikaranaweka says that plans are afoot to introduce new building codes in a bid to promote construction that does not pose a threat to the environment. Speaking at a media briefing recently, the minister went on to say that Tech City Homagama will serve as a model building which will utilize green technology.
Sri Lanka is expected to host the 19th Annual World Renewable Energy Congress Network under the theme Green Colombo on the 29th of September to the 4th of October this year. The conference will focus on power, energy, water and comfort living with renewable energy for developing cities.
When we unveiled our Western Megapolis plan in 2016, we have articulated 4 conceptual pillars: economic prosperity, other one is social equity and individual happiness of the people, and more importantly, the sustainability of the urban development and the green development of the entire economic and social fabric of this country. So we adopted a kind of a green guidelines to the buildings by the UDA, and almost all the buildings here now partially fueled or powered by the green technology. We have experienced negative consequences of this carbon dioxide and methane emission. In the time to come, we are going to promote new building codes, which are actually green building code, and to promote new technologies. They are in our tech city in Homagama.
There is no country in the world now, no country, when I say no country, how poor, how rich, is not investing in renewable energy. Because the climate change and global warming is inevitable, is happening. The only things we can do is to reduce its effect and make it longer before we suffer a great deal. We have used so many CO2 in the air, and the CO2 lasts 1,000 years before it's vanished. Pay more attention to climate change, pay more attention to global warming, and you've got a beautiful country. You already made headway through your tourism. You're already going to make headway through making Colombo green.
A devotee set himself on fire at the Kiribehera temple in the premises of the Ruhunu Maha Kataragama Hindu temple this morning. The custodians as well as the devotees at the premises took measures to douse the fire. The devotees who sustained severe injuries was immediately rushed to the Kataragama district hospital and was later transferred to the Hambantota General Hospital for further treatment. He, however, succumbed to his injuries later in the evening. The walls and ancient paintings of the temple were destroyed by the fire. The person who set a fire to himself was identified as a 59-year-old resident at Ranmithanna in Tismaharama. It is not, however, clear as to the motive behind the incident. Kataragama police is conducting further investigations into the matter. Indian media today reported that one of the most notorious Sri Lankan criminals, D. Sanka, also known as Blumendal Sanka, has been taken into custody by the Indian police in the state of Tamil Nadu along with another Sri Lankan. The report went on to say that an Indian national who was affiliated with the underworld kingpin too has been arrested.
Indian media today reported that Indian police arrested 2 Sri Lankans and 1 Indian national during a special raid following a tip-off about a group engaging in suspicious activity in a residence at Tangappa Nagar in Tamil Nadu province. Police arrested the 2 Sri Lankans for violating immigration and immigration laws. During the investigations, it was discovered that one of the suspects was Blumendal Sanka, also known as D. Sanka, who was wanted in connection with several criminal charges in Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, the other suspect was identified as Sabraz Mohammed. Indian police also alleged that the suspected entered the country illegally via sea when they plotted a murder in Sri Lanka last December. The reports also said that Sanka had obtained an identity card from the person's registration department appearing under the name Kumar. Meanwhile, relatives of individuals who were killed by Sanka held a protest in Totalanga area at the Madampitia junction demanding his return to Sri Lanka. Meanwhile, 3 individuals were arrested today by the Special Task Force in Vellampitiya area over the possession of illicit drugs. The arrestees have been identified as accomplices of Kanjipani Imran, who is currently under the custody of the Dubai police. Officials attached to the Vellampitiya police are conducting further investigations into the incident.
Derana's humanitarian arm Manusat Derana won the Silver Award in the CSR Sustainability category at the Justica Awards 2018 in Colombo last evening. Justica Awards recognizes the country's strongest performers who excelled in 5S, Kaizen and corporate social responsibility.
Manusat Derana was recognized at the 26th Annual Japan-Sri Lanka Technical and Cultural Association Awards held in Colombo last evening. The humanitarian initiative clinched the Silver Award under the CSR Sustainability category, which recognize organizations that contribute immensely to society. Manusat Derana is the CSR initiative undertaken by TV Derana to create awareness and come to the aid of the thousands who are affected by kidney disease in the north-central regions of Sri Lanka. Manusat Derana has been involved in many community service activities around the country. Some of the initiatives include the 1 Million Trees project by Manusat Derana Nature Force, the Little Hearts project and raising funds to obtain a PET scan machine for the Apeksha Maharagama Cancer Hospital. Manusat Derana won prestigious Justica Gold Award for Corporate Social Responsibility in 2016 and a Special Achievement Award at the 2015 International CSR Excellence Awards held in Leicester Square, London. Manusat Derana also won the Gold Award for Best CSR Brand of the Year at the Slim Brand Excellence Awards 2018.
Manusat Derana.
The National Water Supply and Drainage Board announces that the duration of the water cut affecting areas of Colombo 13, 14 and 15 are further extended. The water cut commenced at 9 p.m. last night for the relevant areas was scheduled to conclude by 3 p.m. today. However, the Water Board stated the water cut will be extended until 2 a.m. tomorrow. Let's now take a look at some of the stories making news across Sri Lanka.
The police arrested 3 persons, including 2 Nigerian nationals in Mount Lavinia yesterday over possession of drugs. The officers who conducted the search inside a 3-wheeler found 32.19 grams of cocaine. Police also said the 2 Nigerian nationals have engaged in visa violations as well by overstaying in the country since April last year. Police said that the safe of the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital was broken into last night, where 6.3 million rupees have been stolen. It has been revealed during preliminary investigations that documents inside the safe room had also been destroyed during the incident. A wild elephant died in Malvilla in Valikanda area today after being electrocuted by an illegal electric fence fixed by a farmer to protect his cultivation. The wildlife officials said that the elephant is of 25 years old. A new traffic plan is in effect for Kandy from today onwards as a measure to reduce the traffic congestion in the city. Accordingly, all vehicles are directed to enter into the city via William Gopalava Mawatha from Gatambe Junction, while the old Peradeniya road is used to leave from the city.
And with that, we cross over to a short commercial break. Make sure you stay tuned for the news.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is Derana 24.
Analysts expect a boost in investor confidence in the upcoming week following the IMF reaching a staff-level agreement over the extended fund facility and improvement in liquidity following the SSR cut. During the week, the Asia Price Index lost 1.43%, while the average daily turnover was up from last week to 759 million rupees. We now have Nisansala Kurupamudali from First Capital Holdings with this week's market forecast.
Market participants in both capital markets remain on the sideline, seeking a direction from the upcoming budget on 5th March. Equity market witnessed a dull sentiment with the end of the earnings season today, with most companies witnessing subdued performance during the quarter. However, we expect investor confidence to boost during the upcoming week, with government reaching the staff-level agreement and liquidity improvement materializing from the SRR cut.
On international business news, the Confederation of British Industries said today British businesses reported their weakest growth in nearly 6 years during the past 3 months due to fears of a no-deal Brexit and rising global trade barriers. The CBI's index of private sector activity over the past 3 months dropped to 3% in February from 0 in January. This was its lowest since April 2013, when Britain was still recovering from the global financial crisis. Firms expected similar weakness in the 3 months ahead, when Britain is due to leave the European Union after over 40 years of membership. A survey last week showed manufacturers stockpile goods by the most on record for any big advanced economy as they prepare for the possibility of border delays after Brexit. The Bank of England predicts Britain's economy will grow by just 0.2% in the 3 months to March, and growth in 2019 to be the weakest since 2009, even if Brexit goes smoothly. Britain's trading partner in Europe are facing weaker growth too, due to trade tensions between the United States and China that have hurt global manufacturers. On international news, as India and Pakistan seemingly dial down hostilities that brought the arch enemies to the brink of another war, a massive crackdown on militancy in the Indian-controlled Kashmir region is killing both militants and security personnel in big numbers. Indian and Pakistani armies said that over the past 24 hours, there was a relative calm at the line of control, the de facto border between the nuclear-armed neighbours. The exchange of fire in the past few days has killed 7 people on the Pakistani side and 4 on the Indian side. Though the release of a downed Indian fighter pilot by Pakistan on Friday night was helped de-escalate tensions. Hundreds of terrified residents near the de facto border between Pakistan and India fled their homes as shelling continued across the line of control yesterday. The Pakistani Kashmir government has closed all education institutions in the region, and several college and school campuses have been converted into shelter homes for the displaced people. Meanwhile, India is building more than 14,000 bunkers suitable for families living along its border with Pakistan in Jammu and Kashmir state, hoping to keep them safe near their homes instead of evacuating them as artillery shells scream over. Eight pro-Brexit lawyers, including 7 Tory and DUP MPs, have outlined the key terms Prime Minister Theresa May must deliver to secure their support for her deal to leave the European Union. They went to examine any agreement the UK Attorney General Geoffrey Cox reaches with Brussels over the Northern Ireland backstop to ensure it's temporary. The backstop is designed to avoid a hard border with Ireland after Brexit. It comes as a senior Brexiteer pointed to MPs' growing mood for compromise. The UK is due to leave the EU on the 29th of March with or without a deal. Last month, UK MPs rejected the withdrawal deal Theresa May has reached with the EU by 230 votes, the biggest defeat for a sitting government in history. May believes the majority of the MPs who voted against her deal, including 118 Conservatives, would back it if she managed to secure changes that would prevent the UK being tied to EU customs laws indefinitely. She has promised MPs another vote on her deal by 12th of March, and if that fails, she says MPs will get a vote on whether the UK should leave without a deal, and then by 14th of March, a vote on whether Brexit should be postponed for a short period. We have sports news on the other side, so make sure you stay tuned.
You are watching Sri Lanka's #1 news channel. This is Other Derana 24.
And with that, we conclude this edition of First at 9. But before we leave, we'd like to remind our viewers to tune in to Mahesh Johnny's program Showbiz Tonight for the latest in the world of entertainment. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.